Let us go through the details related to string replacement. There are three main functions which we should have knowledge about with respect to string replacement. They are nothing but replace, overlay, and translate. Replace can be used to replace a substring within a string with another string. This is how the syntax look like. It takes three arguments. The first one is the main string. The second one is the string that needs to be replaced, which is nothing but ALO, because there is a typo in hello and I just want to fix it. And the third argument is nothing but the string which is supposed to be replacing the string that is passed as second argument. In this case, it is nothing but ELLO. When it comes to overlay, it can be used to replace a substring within a string by position with another string. You can see example here, starting from 2 up to 3 characters. We just want to replace, which is nothing but this one has to be replaced with this one. We cannot pass the arguments with commas. We just have to use this special syntax. The main string placing the substring or the string which has to be replacing the characters from up to the characters which are specified as part of for. So in this case, ALO will be replaced with ELLO. These two have two different purposes. We can't use both for the same purposes, except in some scenarios. They are meant for special purposes. In case if you have a string that needs to be replaced, then you use replace. If you want to replace by position, then you use overlay. On top of these two, we also have translate. Translate is more of a character replacement. You can replace bunch of characters with other bunch of characters, and this is how the syntax will look like. All hyphens will be replaced with spaces. We can have multiple characters like this, and then multiple characters here to replace the corresponding characters between the second argument and third argument. So in this case, I am using something called as unique IDs. It's nothing but a named query, and I wanted to run using replace, translate as well as overlay to replace the hyphens with spaces. We'll come to that in a moment once we actually go through these two. So let's load the SQL magic here. Let me create this environment variable called as database underscore URL. Let me run this. You can see that using replace, we are able to replace ALO with ELLO here. Same is the case with overlay by using position. Any characters from 2 to 4 or from 2 up to 3 characters from 2 will be replaced with whatever string placed here. In this case, it is nothing but ELLO, and you can see the output. Now comes changing the hyphens to spaces in unique IDs. We can either use replace or translate or overlay for this purpose. As long as it's only one character, either of the approach will work. However, with respect to overlay, it will replace only one which is at 4th position. If you want to replace the one which is at 7th position, you have to use another overlay, and you have to nest this overlay as first argument to it. Now let me run this, and you can see the output with respect to replace and translate. It work as expected. However, with respect to overlay, you still have hyphens here. You can use overlay still, but it is not a suggested approach. Now this is another set of unique IDs. In this case, we not only have hyphens at 4th and 7th position, we also have colons, forward slashes, etc. Any character at 4th and 7th position is supposed to be replaced with spaces. This is how it look like with a replace. As we have only two replaces, it will be able to only replace hyphen and colon. The first replace will replace hyphen. The second replace will replace colon. To replace forward slashes, I have to use another replace, and I have to pass this as first argument to it. With respect to translate, it's much more crisp and clean. You just have to pass the unique ID as first argument. As part of the second argument, you can specify what all characters you want to replace with space. For each and every character, we have to provide the corresponding character as part of the third argument. In this case, it's only space. There are three spaces here. First space is for hyphen, second space is for colon, and third space is for forward slash. When it comes to overlay, it will replace any character at 4 and 7 because we have two overlays here. This will take care of replacing at 4, and this will take care of replacing at 7. So for this problem, overlay might be a bit more useful because no matter what characters we have at 4th and 7th position, we can leverage overlay. However, there might be a scenario where some unique IDs might have these characters, some unique IDs might not have. In those scenarios, translate is the best bet. So depending upon your requirement, you should come up with the solution. Now comes translate, another example. In case of translate, if we do not have characters for replacement, then those will be replaced with empty string. So in this case, we have this phone number where we have the country code with plus, then space, then circular brackets, then space, then and the 3 digits, then hyphen, then the last 4 characters or digits. So I want to replace plus with 0 and the rest of the things with empty string. this is how it will look like. So plus 0, and for rest of the stuff I haven't specified any character. They all will be replaced with empty strings. You can run this and you can see the output here. This is more realistic example where we have a named query called as phone numbers to simulate phone numbers, and you can see the output here. In this case we are trying to replace everything with empty string, not only brackets, space and hyphen, even plus I want to replace with empty string. This is how it will look like. All the characters that are supposed to be replaced with empty strings should be towards the end. You should not have any other characters after them, otherwise it will not work. You cannot just say that for this you use empty string. If you use any other string, automatically that empty string condition will be violated, and hence all the characters that are supposed to be replaced with empty strings should be towards the end of the second argument. So this is how you should be able to leverage replace or translate or overlay to replace substrings with end strings, or a sequence of characters with end the sequence of characters. Make sure you understand the relevance of all the three. They are quite useful and they all have their own purposes. You should be able to leverage them based upon the business requirements for which you are trying to write the queries.